So today we are going to study solubility. The term we will study solubility. What is the meaning of solubility? So solubility means the maximum amount of any solute that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent is known as solubility of that substance. So we can define solubility as the maximum amount of solute, or maximum amount of substance that can be dissolved in given amount of solvent is known as solubility. In given amount of solvent is known as solubility. It's known as solubility. We have a certain amount of solvent, and in this solvent how much we can dissolve, how much solute we can dissolve, or the maximum amount of solute that we can dissolve in the given amount of solvent is known as solubility of that substance. Now we'll see solubility of solid in liquid. First case we'll see solubility of solid in liquid. Means our substance solute will be solid and solvent will be liquid. All solute cannot be soluble in all solvent. To dissolve any particular solute in solvent, there must be the relationship like dissolves like. Means only polar like dissolves like. Means if we have polar solute, then it will be soluble in, if we have polar solute, then it will be soluble in polar solvent. Soluble in polar solvent. But if we have non-polar solute, in that case, suppose if we have non-polar solute, in that case it will be soluble in non-polar solvent. Polar solute will be soluble in polar solvent and non-polar solute will be soluble in non-polar solvent. This relationship is known as like dissolves like. So we will see what is the effect of pressure on such kind of solution, but before that we will discuss one term, that is saturated solution. Saturated solution. Saturated solution is defined as the solution is said to be saturated. A solution is saturated if no more amount of solute can be dissolved in solvent at given temperature and pressure. Temperature and pressure. Suppose this is a beaker, and in this beaker we have solvent and we are adding solute in it. When we'll add solute in it, the solute will start to dissolve. A time will come When we'll add excess amount of solute, then it will be no more soluble. This condition is called saturated solution, or we can say that we have prepared saturated solution. Effect of pressure. What is effect of pressure on such solution? As one component is liquid and another component is solid, and we know that pressure has no significant effect on solid and liquid state, so there will be no effect of pressure. Effect will be negligible. Effect will be negligible. Now effect of temperature. Effect of temperature. Temperature will affect the solubility of solute in solvent. What is that effect? That if the dissolution process is exothermic, means heat producing, in that case if we increase temperature, then solubility will decrease. But if the dissolution process is endothermic, in that case if we increase the temperature, then solubility will increase. Similarly, in case of exothermic process, if we will decrease the temperature, then solubility will increase, and in case of endothermic process, if we will decrease the temperature, then solubility will decrease. So with increase in temperature, solubility will increase in case of endothermic process, and solubility will decrease in case of exothermic process. So the next topic is solubility of gas in liquid. So to understand the solubility of gas in liquid, we'll understand first Henry's laws. Henry's law says that solubility of gas in a liquid is directly proportional to pressure of the gas. A gas will be more soluble in liquid if the pressure of that gas is high over the surface of liquid. This is the statement of Henry's law. First statement, solubility of gas in a liquid is directly proportional to pressure of the gas. Second is mole fraction of gas in the solution is proportional to the partial pressure of gas over the solution. If a gas has more mole fraction inside the solution, then its partial pressure over the solution will be high. Both meaning of both the sentence, both the definitions are same. This says that if there is high pressure, there will be more solubility of gas in solvent. This one says that if there is more amount of gas inside the solvent, then its partial pressure over the solution will be high. Third is the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to mole fraction of gas in the solution. This is conclusion of these two statements, that the partial vapor pressure of any gas over the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction inside the solution. So from these three statements we can express Henry's law mathematically, and that expression is P equals to Kh into chi, where P is partial pressure, P is partial vapor pressure, Kh equals to Henry constant, Henry's constant, and chi equals to mole fraction. This chi is mole fraction. So this is Henry law. Now we'll see some applications of Henry's law. First one is that every one of us like cold drinks during summer season, and we know that cold drink is prepared by dissolving carbon dioxide in sugar water. So to dissolve carbon dioxide, if we have to increase the solubility of carbon dioxide in water, normally carbon dioxide is very less soluble in water, its solubility is very less. But to increase the solubility, we apply very high pressure. When we apply very high pressure, then solubility of carbon dioxide inside the soft drink increases and it helps us to make cold drink. Second is scuba diver. When divers used to go down the sea level, then due to increased pressure on their body, nitrogen gas present in air starts to dissolve in blood, and this causes severe health complications and even death. To cope up with this problem, now the oxygen tank which is carried by a scuba diver is diluted with helium. And why with helium? Because solubility of helium is very less. So due to dilution of helium, now nitrogen does not dissolve inside the blood, and when scuba divers goes, they can go inside the sea level and come back safely. These are the application of Henry's law. So next topic is vapor pressure of liquid solution. So in this, Raoult's law is very important, and this law states that for a solution of volatile liquids, the partial vapor pressure of each component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction present in the solution. Suppose if we have prepared any solution of two liquid, and two different liquid has different mole fraction in the solution, then the partial vapor pressure of component 1 will be given as P1 equals to P1 naught into chi1, where P1 is partial vapor pressure of component 1, where P1 equals to partial vapor pressure of component 1, vapor pressure of component 1, because we are preparing solution and this solution will contain different component. P1 naught will be partial vapor pressure of component 1 in pure state, partial vapor pressure of component 1 in pure state. Pure state means, what is the meaning of pure state? Meaning of pure state is that when it is in its purest form, nothing is mixed in it, then it is called pure form. Suppose if we are mixing water and ethanol, then when we have not mixed water and ethanol, then ethanol is pure and water is pure. So in this purest form, whatever vapor pressure is there, that is P1 naught. And chi1 is mole fraction in solution. Mole fraction in solution, mole fraction of component 1 in solution. So suppose if we have prepared a solution by mixing two different liquid, suppose we have prepared, then pressure P1 will be P1 naught into chi1. Here P1 is vapor pressure of component 1, P1 naught is vapor pressure of component 1 in purest state, and chi1 is its mole fraction in solution. Similarly, we can write P2 equals to, P2 is component 2, the partial pressure of component 2 will be partial pressure of component 2 in its pure state, or pressure in its pure state into its mole fraction in solution. Chi1, chi2 is mole fraction in solution. So total vapor pressure, we can say P total will be P1 plus P2, and this will be equal to P1 naught chi1 plus P2 naught chi2. We know the relationship between the mole fraction, and that relationship is sum of mole fraction of all the components are always equal to unity 1. So we can write here chi1 equals to 1 minus chi2. If we substitute this value in this equation, then we'll get total vapor pressure Pt will be equal to, in place of chi1 we can write 1 minus chi2. So P1 1 minus chi2 minus plus P2 naught chi2. From here we can calculate this. Pt equals to P1 naught minus P1 naught chi2 plus P2 naught Chi2, and Pt will be P1 naught minus Chi2. If we take common, then we'll have P1 naught minus P2 naught. So this is the equation of a straight line. So with this help we can draw the phase diagram. So if we draw the phase diagram, to draw the phase diagram we'll take two axes. And on the horizontal axis we'll take mole fraction, and on vertical axis we'll take vapor pressure. On vertical axis we'll take vapor pressure. We'll assume the mole fraction of component 1 here is equal to 1 and mole fraction of component 2 is equal to 0. Similarly here mole fraction of component 1 is equal to 0 and mole fraction of component 2 is equal to 1. So see here 2 points. At this point we have mole fraction of component equals to 1, and it is only possible when it is in purest state. Anything will have 100% mole fraction if it is in purest form, and the purest form vapor pressure is given by P1 naught. So suppose corresponding to this pure state vapor pressure of component 1 is P1 naught. Now if we come to this point, you can see here mole fraction of x1 component 1, mole fraction of component 1 is 0 and mole fraction of component 2 is 1. Means this point is indicating that in this state component second is in purest form and there is no impurity of component 1. That's why its mole fraction is coming 0. So this is purest state of component 2 and this one is purest state of component 1. So in this purest state it will have some vapor pressure. Suppose this vapor pressure is P2 naught. Now when we will go from left to right or right to left, then what will happen? Any point inside this is indicating solution, and in solution when we will move from left to right, mole fraction of component 1 will start to decrease and component 2 will start to increase. Similarly when we go right to left, then mole fraction of component 2 will decrease and mole fraction of component 1 will increase, and it will have effect on the vapor pressure, because from Raoult's law we have seen that vapor pressure equals to mole fraction into its vapor pressure in pure state. So we get the relationship that when we go from left to right, then vapor pressure of this component 1 will decrease and will become equal to 0 when there will be only pure. This is straight line. Now if we talk about the component second, then its vapor pressure will decrease when we'll move from right to left, and in between the phase between this axis and this axis is indicating solution phase. So in solution phase the total vapor pressure will be indicated by this line Pt, and this Pt will be, here vapor pressure is indicating P1, this one is indicating P2, and Pt will be equals to P1 plus P2. So when we have mixed two liquids and both liquids are ideal, in that case the total vapor pressure will be sum of vapor pressure of individual component. Now we will see what is ideal solution. A solution is said to be ideal if AA interaction is equal to AB interaction is equal to BB interaction. So what is A and B here? Here A is representing solute particles and B is representing solvent particle. So if solute-solute interaction is same, whatever force of attraction is acting between the solute particle, same force of attraction should exist between solute and solvent, and same will be between the solvent molecules. So we say if A interaction, solute-solute interaction is equal to solute-solvent interaction is equal to solvent-solvent interaction, then such solution will be ideal solution. Second point, the enthalpy volume of mixing. Whenever we mix two solution, then there should be change in volume. That volume of mixing should be equal to 0. Third, enthalpy of mixing. When we mix two component, in that case enthalpy change takes place, so that enthalpy change should also be equal to 0. If A interaction is equal to AB interaction is equal to BB interaction, means if solute-solute interaction is equal to solute-solvent interaction is equal to solvent-solvent interaction, volume of mixing is 0. When we mix, there should not be any change in volume, and if enthalpy of mixing is 0, in that case we say that solution is ideal. So these are the three important properties of ideal solution. Apart from this, the most important, this one is follows Raoult's law. Follows Raoult's law. Raoult's law at all condition of temperature and pressure. Whatever temperature and pressure we will give, it will follow Raoult's law. So if it follows all these 3 points, any solution is said to be ideal if solute-solute interaction, solute-solvent and solvent-solvent interaction should be same, volume of mixing should be 0, enthalpy of mixing should be 0, and should follow Raoult's law. That is, what is Raoult's law? P1 equals to P1 naught into Chi1. That is, partial vapor pressure equals to its vapor pressure in pure state into mole fraction. So if follows Raoult's law at all condition of temperature and pressure, then that solution is called ideal solution. Now in the next chapter we will discuss positive and negative deviation from the ideal behavior. Why any solution deviates from its ideal nature, that we will discuss in next topic.